Hello creatives and welcome back. I am so pleased to bring this design to you today, and it just seems like it's at the right and appropriate time. So I placed a poll out yesterday on my design page, my public page, and asked for a poll on if you guys wanted to see a Hanukkah wreath or a Kwanzaa wreath. And you guys overwhelmingly pretty much picked Hanukkah, so that's what we're doing today. This would also be great in support of Israel and everything that Israel is going through at this particular time. So let's get some housekeeping rules set aside. So if you would like to save this tutorial, super simple. It doesn't have a save button down below, but it does have a share button. By clicking that share button on Facebook, it will share this tutorial to your personal Facebook page where you'll have all the information handy when you're ready to put one together for yourself. YouTube is a little bit different. You're just going to want to make sure that you hit the subscribe button on my channel. That way you're notified whenever we upload a new video from Facebook. This one being Thursday, October the 12th of the year 2023. So making sure that you hit that subscribe button lets you know whenever we add a new design like we are today. Also, I would love to have you guys make sure that you're liking and following the page. Why? Well, if you ever want to be notified when I go live, you need to do both, not just one. So the like button is fairly easy to find. It's the follow button that's hidden. So the three dots off to the right-hand side of the like button opens up a sub-menu. You can click follow page, and then that way, if you happen to be on your device when we go live, you'll be notified. I'm going to go ahead and type in all the relevant information while you guys are joining me. So let me go in so that I can read your comments. I'm going to go ahead and type in my website. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this wreath, it is available. It just says Happy Hanukkah Wreath being made on Kats Live. And I'm going to go ahead and pin that there. Whatever it wants to pin. There we go. Also, private group is going big. So if you guys failed to hear the announcement on Tuesday and you're not part of my email list, our private group is going to go bigger. Bigger by not expanding size, but by expanding the knowledge. So I had been toying with a notion of doing an advanced design class and an advanced business class to teach you all the things you ever wanted to know. So we're taking your feedback, and I've decided to just add that in to the existing private group membership, which is both design and business. And so you guys can join that group now without any increase in your price. And if we decide to increase the price later, you guys will be locked into your rate. So it doesn't matter what we do. As long as you're a current member, your price stays the same. You can also do that on my website if you guys are interested. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you guys down. I'll go over all the materials with you. Hang tight. We're taking a trip down south. There we go. Okay, I've got everything prepped. So we're going to do this one all in blue. I thought about doing blue and white with my pipe cleaners, but I kind of want to keep it all blue. We're doing it on the 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. And making sure I can read comments. There we go. The first 5 are already done for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did the 5 with the last section that we have here. So you're going to take your pipe cleaner. You're going to wire together the 2 inside rings together. You're going to put your pipe cleaner approximately right in the center of the 2 welds. It doesn't have to be perfect. By securing them to 2, you don't have the wiggle room. Therefore, you don't need to add glue to your pipe cleaners. So we're going to go ahead and do the same on the outside. This time we're wiring together the 2 outside. Same theory. Create stability for the outside ones, just like so. Okay. 1 on each side. This way it leaves 6 in the inside, 12 to the outside, grand total of 18. The sign we're going to be using for this design is from Craft Outlet. It's your 12.5 by 6 Happy Hanukkah sign. So we're going to be incorporating this as our sign theme, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is this method is called the next one. So wherever you start on your form, whether you do the inside or the outside, where you're going to lay your next piece of deco mesh will be the very next pipe cleaner that you come to. So I have these cut. This is a blue and white fabric mesh. These are cut to 20-inch pieces with the wood burning tool. And yes, I know it seems ironic because sometimes I tell you on the fabric mesh, that you cannot cut it with the wood burning tool because of the fibers here, but I always say try it and see what, try it and see if it works. Hopefully it works. On this case, it did. This deco mesh I received from Crinkle Designs. As you can tell, we're going against the fold. So I'm laying it flat, weighting it down on the other end with scissors. I'm going to gather starting in this center section, and we're just going to pull it towards us. It's not going to be perfectly, smooth all the way down. You see it kind of wiggles and waggles. So this is called the ruffle method. People also refer to it as the scrunch, bow tie. It's all the same thing. We're taking our finished edges, and our finished edges are going to go to the inside. So just like this, laying that right inside, I'm going to take my pipe cleaner with a firm twist and give it quite a few twists. Now I'm going to leave these on because I'm not sure if I want to add things to this existing design once we're finished. Even though the sign is 12.5, I'm not sure. So if I'm not sure, or you're not sure, should I cut them off? Should I leave them on? Leave them on till the very end because you can always cut them off at the end. And so now we're going to do the next one. So this mesh that we're adding to the inside creates coverage for the two outside pieces in each section. So here we go. I'm just kind of like unraveling these. Obviously, the closer to the end of the deco mesh roll, the tighter the deco mesh piece will be, and you'll see that it's kind of like crazy. I try to put those ones on the inside because it won't really matter as it tries to go back against itself and roll up. The outside pieces, though, I just give them a couple twists. So we want to make sure always move your pipe cleaners to the left. Keeps them out of the way of the next one that you're going to do. I always go to the right. And then as we're connecting the sections, the two that are next to each other, which is like this section here, we want to make sure, because there is nothing in the middle to join those two together, we want to overlap our sections here so that we do have some coverage with the one that's on the end. So again, just go ahead and pull that towards you. I find it works easier to pull it than to walk your fingers up. Place that right down over the top to secure twists. And then I take the ends and kind of gently fold those over so that I have access to both of those. That's going to come in handy when we are doing our ribbon tails. So now we're back to the one on the inside. If you could tell, I didn't really fluff this one because we've got to wait till we get that inside piece. And then we can take the two outside pieces and make sure that those are over the other two. So I think this is my tightest inside piece. So you can see it's being unruly, because this is the one that was the last piece to cut on the end of the deco mesh roll. So that's why I use the tighter pieces to the inside. That way they can curl face down fight each other as much as they want. I give quite a few extra twists just in case I want to come back and just remove my inside ones. I don't have to, you know, spend the extra time and make sure they're twisted on there good. I'm going to pick up the mesh from that previous one, lay it underneath, just like that. I'm going to take my inside ones and move them to the center. And then I also want to open this one up so that we're ready for the outside piece in that section. Okay. Do you guys have any comments at all? Hi, Juanita. The tight pieces. Yeah, those ones are tough. You know, they just want to do what they want to do. They want to go back and curl themselves back in that method. So just contain them as best as you possibly can. Like I said, I use the tightest ones on the inside 6 so they can just roll against the frame. Okay, folding our edges down, we can see both of the two. Lay your pipe cleaner down. We're getting ready to join to the next section. So I'm just going to make sure my pipe cleaner is right in the center. Kind of push those ones all to the other side. And we will proceed with the next piece. Okay. Hi, Cheryl from Canada. Yeah, this one was a tough choice for me. I had like 6 different rolls of Deco mesh out, trying to figure out, okay, well, which direction do you want to go in? Do you want to do just solid blue? Do you want to do white? Do you want to do a ombre color of blues, whites, and silvers? Do you just want to do silver? Do you want to do snowball mesh in royal blue and white? So a lot of choices. Ultimately, I came down to the fact I definitely wanted blue and white for the mesh. The blue, if I just left it by itself, I think it would get lost. So that's why I did blue and white. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one to the inside. We're about halfway through placing our Deco mesh in. Take my outside piece, make sure it goes over the top of my inside piece. We're going to move the pipe cleaners towards the center so they're out of the way. Ready for our next outside piece. And this mesh is also, it's wonky, like it was put on the roll crooked. So literally every piece that I had to cut was a challenge because it doesn't want to stay. You know, it formed some sort of memory on the mesh side of things based on the way that it was rolled up. So it wants to instantly go back to how it was placed on the roll, which I can't have because it was crooked. And so you always have to take and make that first initial cut and see if you can't try to get your mesh straight. So if you see it, it wants to do this. So I have to constantly, like when I'm cutting it, I have to readjust and try to keep it straight so that I can know that the pieces I'm cutting are straight. So I follow the column of the Deco mesh as I'm cutting, not the line on the cutting mat. That is to ensure I have a straight cut on my pieces and I'm not following what the mesh wants to do on that end. So push it to the side. Again, just move those to the other end I'm getting my centerpiece ready. Thankfully, we've used up the worst of the tights, so these ones are a little bit more manageable. Okay, placing this right on the inside. Couple twists, just in case we're just going to come in and just snip those off at the end. And now I'm just going to readjust that outside piece and get the center to go back under, push the pipe cleaners up, and now I'm ready to go with my outside piece in that section. Hi, Linda. It looks like the pancake method, but it's not. Pancake method would only be 12 pieces of mesh, 6 on the inside, 6 on the outside, slightly overlapping each other for a more flat look. This is just the ruffle method for a wreath. So yes, I do open them up so that, you know, we can see the entire piece of mesh. Just like so. We're joining our next section. So I want to make sure I have an up and down over that we're ready for our next piece. So I hope that answered that question. And guys, feel free to answer or ask questions, even on the YouTube section of it. I do go back and read all the comments because I know you guys are catching it as a replay and not the live. And so I want to make sure that if you have any questions as well, that I am answering those. Oop. Trying to get that initially in. Okay, we're going to open this, connect our two. Remember, we want to make sure we have access to both of those ends. We're not going to worry about this because we've got to get our centerpiece in. This is really clingy mesh, but I love fabric mesh because it's so soft. And we'll go ahead and do this right on the inside. And I usually twist, like when I'm done, about 4 or 5 times. The reason being is there has been times that I thought I had twisted that pretty darn good, and then I come back to do something and I find my pipe cleaners open and I'm like, what the heck? Okay, pushing those to the opposite side so they're out of the way. Alrighty, laying that down. Our pipe cleaners always want to go right through that mesh, right where they're not supposed to be. Okay, so now we're making sure our edges are turned down. This is moved to the center, and then we're connecting the sections. So we should be ready to go. Every single piece of mesh is clinging. It's like I could literally just roll them in a curl and they'd stay there. Because it's the ends up here. They all have these little ends that like to just grab. They're supposed to be finished, but sometimes they got those little edges towards on the very ends that just capture and cling on everything. Okay, we're back to the center, and then we will just have 2 more pieces after that. The reason why I like wood burning my mesh is it is life-changing. If you've never wood burned before, and how your finished designs will look, you will have very little fraying. it just gives it an overall clean look. So we're going under. Same thing here, making sure my top piece lays over the top of that center. Now we're doing the outside in that section, and then we have that transition piece. Okay, right over the top. We'll make sure we've got the connection between the two. Open this up, and then we've got to create a space for that last piece of mesh to just find its way home. So the good thing is that with this mesh being so clingy, it will help keep the mesh in place. So right here, right in the center. Okay, let's fluff that one up. Make sure we can connect. Same thing with these two. That is my outside. Okay, I'm just making sure we are good over our center. There we go. All right, so this is our base, all blue and white fabric mesh. The yield on this right now is a 24 inch. We're gonna come in and add our ribbon, and I was lucky to find this ribbon at Craft Outlet right now. So these are my color choices. It's all gonna be Star of David, either on blue or on white, and it has the blue and the silver depending upon what color. The 1.5" are cut to 19 inches. The 2.5 inch pieces are cut to 14 inches. So these are going to be the color combinations. They're just exactly opposite of one another. And again, all the ribbon you can purchase at Craft Outlet. So I just fold the 1.5" in half so we can find the exact center. We're going to gather, place this right inside our pipe cleaner. We're going to fan that towards the outside. Then we're going to take our 1.5" cut to 19 inch pieces. We're going to bring the dovetailed ends together. We're going to go up about 2 inches and pinch in. We're going to do what's called a half bow. So a full bow would have 2 loops. A half bow, in my opinion, just has 1 loop. It's like an awareness ribbon. So we're going to open the loop. We have to right side the left end so that it's facing right way up. And then I like to see both in the center. Now for the ends here, I am going to cut my ends down to about 1.5 inches, just like this. And I'm going to add the styrofoam balls, and this is from Hobby Lobby during the Christmas time. So we have the royal blue. I'm just going to take a dab of glue, place this on one side, and then on the other, we are just going to take our round balls, white ones, put a little bit of glue on that, and feed that on the other side. That way it just kind of, it finishes the look on that by having the little balls on the end. So that's what I'm going to do as I go all the way around, just to finish the look of the tails. Also adding the embellishments to the outside. You could wait and do it all at the end, but I pretty much knew that I wanted to do that. So I'm just taking the opportunity to do that now. Pinching in, Placing this right on the inside. This wreath would actually work really good too if you wanted to swap out the sign. This could also be a, what would you call it? Support Israel, or if you are an Israeli family, then obviously this has significant meaning to you. So it doesn't have to just be a Hanukkah wreath. You could change out the sign. I'm trying to get the little balls so that as I do this, this is what I used to do off camera, is I would just go ahead and put all the styrofoam balls on, and then off camera, go back, pull all the balls back off, and then glue them on so that they became a permanent structure. But I just figured, why do that? We can do it all at once. So now that we've moved our pipe cleaners to the left, we need to get them out of the way so that the very next section that we're ready to put our tails and half bows in is ready to go. So this is my first ever Hanukkah wreath. Hi Cheryl. Hi Linda. Hi Jane from rainy West Wales. Thank you for joining. Today we have a beautiful day. The sun is shining, which is nice. It'll dry out all of our leaves, so I can hopefully get those all picked up and moved to the garden for composting. Hoping to get that done before the next rain begins on Saturday. So that will be good. Okay. So what do you guys think of the look thus far? This is why we save all of our red, white, and blue stuff, so we can come back in and add those to our design. So I am always looking for crafts or things I can use for different holidays every time I'm out and shopping. Wherever there's a sale, I'm looking at items and thinking, how can I use this in the future? May not be used right now. Cut those off. Right side our ribbon. Add our little glitter balls. Sometimes I'm using bigger ones, sometimes I'm using smaller ones. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I like varying the look on them. You just want to make sure that you're super careful that you don't poke them all the way through to the other side. I have done that, not on this wreath, but I have in the past. Poke them all the way through. I find that the ones that have glitter seem to be a little bit more sturdier. The ones without seem to be a little thinner. And we want white. Trying to make sure I stack them in the order I want to pull them, but sometimes the stack just gets rearranged. Open, off. And you don't have to add the little scatters and fillers to that. The little styrofoam balls on the end, you can just simply cut your pipe cleaners off and be done with them. I'm trying to think of like what other options could you put on this wreath. You could add dreidels, you could add candles. I always am constantly removing the little edges that are little imperfections. So I will make this design. I will, like, normally when I add the signs, I usually clean up the back really good, but I want to make it to where if people want to switch out the sign and go from Hanukkah to just like, I'm trying to think of another thing you could put on your sign that would go with this as well. I mean, a lot of our sign makers will custom make our signs to include, you know, if you're looking for something a little bit different, you can definitely do that. My styrofoam bowl. There's that. We're just making our way around. I was grateful that they had just come out with this ribbon. Otherwise, you could just use blue, white, matzo. What does that mean, Cheryl? I would like to see this wreath. Like, I would love to see a sign that has, what do they call it? The Abrahamic, the blessing, the Abraham blessing. I would like to see that on a sign. I think that would look amazing and beautiful. I'll have to go hit one of our sign vendors up for that and say, hey, can you make a sign and put this on there? Hi, Becky. Welcome. She says, my first live. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining. There we go. Keep going around. We're almost finished. If you think about it, we're doing 3 different parts. Oh, like mazel tov. Good luck. Congratulations. Oh, nice. Yes, you could. That would be a wonderful sign to put. I can't spell mazel tov. Hey, you know, you get points for trying. I don't think I could do it either. I'd have to Google it and then write it out. Like, it was, you know, trying to figure out how to spell Hanukkah because there's so many different ways that people spell it. And I'm like, there is a legitimate way in how it is spelled. So I made sure that I had the correct spelling. Oop, I needed the different one. I'm actually putting 2 different kinds of white balls on here. I have ones that don't have glitter and they're more of a pearlescent, and then I'm also putting ones that do have the glitter on, and I'm toggling them. It's like this is glitter, this is non-glitter. Again, keep moving your pipe cleaners back to where you need them to go. So I'm going to look and see about having that sign created in a 12 by 6 if possible, so that it could occupy the same space that this one does, because this is a 12.5 by 6. Not Irish, but always grabbing the same blue though. There's no blue non-glitter, so we're doing blue glitter all the way through. Now we'll do the white glitter. Okay, 3 more, and then we can make the bow and add our sign, and we will be finished. Okay, there's that. Trying to stay with the same color blues. So this is the royal blue. Trying to get right up to the center. Making sure that my pipe cleaner is right in the center as well. And we're back to the blue and the non-glitter. So the reason why I add the dab of glue first and then put them on is just it's a time-saving step. There are people who are like, well, I'm going to poke the hole in first. I'm like, they'll go in so easily. You could just save yourself the step and just put a little ball of glue on it and then push that little area right onto your pipe cleaner, and then you have secured it. And you don't have to go back and take that extra step. Okay. Open our loop, right side the left part of our ribbon. It's kind of like a 3D awareness bow. Now we need the glitter. And then we'll finish off with the non-glitter side. And then we can start our bow. Here is the final one. So I'm always like moving my mesh around so that I have a good access point to, especially as we're getting towards where we started. And I had 2 different Hanukkah signs. I chose to use this one because I just liked the simplicity of the design. The other one had gold on it, and it had a menorah. So I opted for this side. There's that. Okay. Last one. So remember, we want the non-shiny pearl bar. Okay. There we go. We are all finished with all of our ribbons all the way around this wreath. Again, this is the sign that we're using. I'm thinking it's going to look pretty great, even if we do it off to the side like that. We still have this nice area for a bow home. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my inside pipe cleaners really quick, because remember I told you I'm not really sure I'm going to use those or not. So because we made them all come to the center, it's really easy just to go in there, snip them off, push the little ends down. Okay. Two more. Okay. Last one. And there we go. All right, let's make our bow. So we're using the Bowdabra. I'm also going to prep my sign. So that way it can dry in time. We need to remove the labels. There's one. There's two. I'm going to trim off the twine here. I'm going to use a blue pipe cleaner, and we're going to secure that with staples. These are 1/4 inch staples. We're going to do a twist. Grab another pipe cleaner. Do the same thing. Right to the end. That one is finished. Twist. And then I'm going to add business card to the back, which will be right here. Just with hot glue. Flip that over. And then I'm just going to reinforce my staples so they don't ever get loose and they don't ever come out. And so that is prepped and ready to go. So, ribbons that we're using. Obviously the 4 that we used, the 2, 2.5, the 2 1.5 inches. I think I'm going to go with the white on the end. I am also introducing this silver. This is from Michaels. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that one there. I might have to separate that, and then we're just doing a blue tinsel. So this one has a lot of pattern to it. This one is just a lot of glitter, a lot of sparkle, but that is the order of the ribbons as we build our bow. So I'm going to set these ones to the side, and we're just going to do the recipe for this bow. which is we're going to dovetail the ends, which is just bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side down to the wired point or wired end. And then depending upon how high up you come on that fold determines how deep your V is. I like mine pretty deep. So then we're going 10 inches in. We're going to gather right side fabric, twist to the wrong, place that inside your bodabra. Then we're going to go up and over, and we're going to look for a 5.5 inch loop. So it's just taking your bodabra and taking this edge and lining it up on the 10 inch line, so that when you pull your ribbon out, you can see when you get to 5.5 inches. And then you'll do that on the other side. Just guesstimate it. Verify your measurements. We're right at 5.5. And then we're just going to stretch this out to 10 inches. And then we'll dovetail the end. There we go. All right, this one is finished. There we go. I was like, where's my pen? Okay, now we're going to take our white. Same thing, dovetail your ends, cut from the fold to the wired end. This one is going to be 9.5 inches. Gather in, twist, place inside, and now we're going for a 5 inch loop. So just guess and then verify. A little bit over, not by much, but just a little bit. Always verify. It's kind of like just, you know, there's some people when they make a recipe, they just eyeball it. Well, in this case, we can do it, but you still want to make sure that you verify the length. This way, when you go to fluff your bow, you don't have one side that is longer or one tail that's longer. It's just everything turns out to be the same. Okay. Let's do our blue. So this ribbon is from Craft Outlet as well. So we're doing 9 inches for the tail length. Twist, and we're going to do 4.5 inches for the loop length. So again, verify. I'm always verifying both sides. And then back out. And that one's done. Okay, now we're gonna do our silver. So you'll see that this is a really beautiful ribbon. It's got, looks like mermaid scales kind of things in the center. They're just like little hexes. So we're going to take that weird end off. We're going to dovetail this one. And this time we're going 8.5 inches for our tail length. But we're going to keep the loop length the same as the blue. So we have a little shortcut, because you can still verify and measure, But generally, because you've already measured the blue, just put your fingers in both and then pull on your silver until you've squared those up. And then we still have to make sure, though, that our tail length is 8.5. Dovetail that end. This one is done. Since it's brand new, we need our pin. Okay, now we are to blue, and then we'll finish with white. This one, the tail length will be 8 inches, and our loop length will be 4 inches. So the process just repeats itself over and over until you get everything stacked up where you want it to be. There we go. Back out to 8. And then our last one is simply going to be a 7.5 inch tail with a 3.5 inch loop. Cheryl, the ribbon combos are beautiful. Thank you. And Cheryl says, other Cheryl Lassiter, you're the bow whisperer. No, I'm just like, it's just like cooking. If you follow the recipe, it's always going to yield the same result. That's why I tried to change it up. And the only reason I like this is because it yields an 11 inch in diameter bow, which works out perfect for the majority of my wreaths. And that's not based on the tail size. It's based on the loop, where the loops end. And you can vary your recipe. You can just, you know, if you just wanted to use the Star of David in both of these, then just do extra loops. Okay, that is our loops. We are all finished with that ribbon. Me and pins, we get along very well together. I am always losing pins. Even though I take it out and I set it down, I can never find it again until I go to clean, and then I'm like, hey, there's where that loop went, or that pin. So let's do blue again. Do we need to pull another blue box? Hot pink, royal blue. I guess I could have pulled. Here's another one. Sometimes they're just all over the place. So I'm going to do royal blue. We're going to pick up our stack, compressing it on both sides as I do that. Just shake it out. And then we're going to just move our hands out of the way so we can drop that down. I'm going to twist and then hold it in place while I twist the ribbon. So that'll put a nice twist on that. You could zip tie it. You could floral wire it. It's entirely up to you. I just found as I got older, my hand strength went away and it just became more challenging for me to hold that ribbon in place. Now all I'm going to do is take a 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick piece of plywood, that I have an 1.5 to 2 inch C-hook on. I just screwed it to the center. This is called my fluff board because I want an area big enough that I can fluff the whole thing out, but I don't want it to move. So, hence the little C-hook. I just slide that underneath my pipe cleaner like so, just like that. I turn it so I have a top stack and a bottom stack, and we're going to start at the top. And I'm going to pull my tail to the right, my loop to the left, and then when I go to the bottom, I'm going to pull my loop to the right and my tail to the left, so they're directly opposite of each other. Then we're going to do the same here. We're moving our tail to the right, or our loop to the right, tail to the left. We're going opposites here, so that now we're staggering those colors all the way through. It also gives you a chance to remedy or fix any of those loops you bring down. Now I'm going to go blue here so that I have blue on top of white. Instead of following blue, do the same here. We're going to pull our tail over, pour a loop over, and then for that silver, I'm going to do the opposites. So I have loop and tail, and then we're going to go loop and tail. Same thing here. Rather than have blue on top of blue, we're switching. And then same on the bottom side. And then on the top, we have these two, and then these two. So right now, all we've done is separate our loops and our tails. This needs to join the tail club. There we go. And so now we're going to fluff, which is just grab the top 2 ribbons on the top stack, lift, and round out your loops so they're not flat. We want to round them. Lift and round. And then here you have a choice. You can put the silver in between those. You can put the blue in between those. And then put the other to the other side. I like the silver in between. So now I'm going to do that here. Where did... Oh, it's way down here. Wow. Okay. I was like, where did my loop go? It's way under all the tails. So we're going to, again, put silver in the center. And then the same on the outside. I'm going to put this right over here. The blue over here. Really elevating my loops. Just like so. Give them some life. Okay, now we deal with all the tails. So you just run them through your fingers like they are curling ribbon. And that'll put the little curl back in them in the direction that they came off the ribbon roll. You can even do it to the others on the bottom. You don't see these ones so much till we get them on the wreath, and then they'll follow the wreath base all the way through. So just like that, beautiful bow. We're going to go ahead and take this off and then move this out of the way. We will now bring our wreath over, and we will find a place for our sign. So I'm just like, do I want to put it on the top? You can put your sign on the top. You can put your bow on the bottom. You could put your sign on the bottom, put your bow on top, which I kind of like. I kind of like it like that. It looks really pretty. So that means that I have to bring my sign down to the bottom which means lifting up a piece of my deco mesh on the outside. And then remember, this is a 12.5-inch sign. So my goal is to make sure that I'm on either side of a rail towards the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of pull that to the depth I want, one twist. Come over to the other side, do the same. I'm pulling my deco mesh back where I want to secure my sign. And I always have people ask me, where are you securing that to? We can never see on the back side. And whenever I put my bow or my sign in, it never stays, and yours just seems like so stable. Hang tight and I'll show you. Just trying to get the other end in and down. Although if I flip it over, I have to flip it and hold it. So right now my sign is in. So I like to do what's called feather the edge, which is just grab these little pieces of deco mesh right here in the front and just go around the outside edge so that it's got a nice little look to it, just like that. I'm going to flip it over, but I'm going to hold it so I don't have to refluff ribbons. So here's how I joined it. So it's going over these two, and then over here it's just secured on both sides. Trying to turn that off. Okay, so I just twist my pipe cleaner. Remember, I want this one so that if they want to take it, they can untwist it. And then I'll just take this and wrap it. Same thing on this side. So much easier when you can lay them flat, or you just hold them away from the camera. So I'm just twisting until I've twisted them all. Then I will just kind of go up, oops, and around. Same thing here. I'm going to go up and around, so those are completely secure. Okay, now I'm going to fix. We'll be fixing these until we get everything in place. Now, because we're going to put our bow up here, I need a bow landing spot, which means if I put it on top of this mesh, because this mesh is such a good quality mesh, it wants to push everything up about 2 inches above my sign. Well, that's going to look funky because you can see underneath. So the way to avoid that is this deco mesh right here, especially closer to the sign. I want to tuck that underneath, right in here, because our bow is going to be big enough that I just need it to lay flat. So this is our bow's landing spot. I'm going to pull these forward. So now we have a bow home. This is where our bow is going to go, with the tails going this way. That's why it is handy to know when you're placing your bow, where are your tails in comparison to your loops. When you know that your tails are off to the side, it makes laying that super easy. I want to make sure that we're not interfering with the words on the sign, so that looks pretty nice for me. So now we're going back to the center of our wreath, and we're going to go ahead and I've got one end in, going to get the other. So I've got both ends of my bow in my hand. I'm going to take and push from the center. I'm pushing down in the center so I know how tight I can tie my bow. That is the critical step to making sure your bow doesn't wobble all over the place. And then same thing, if you need to move your mesh so that your bow can fold the same way you want. Pull your tails in whatever direction you want your tails to go. Just like so. Doesn't that look pretty? It's nice. And I want to pull these ones off to the side a bit more. Just like that, you can still read our sign. We are good to go there. If you feel like your tails are too long, you are welcome to slim those down. I am going to add a little blue styrofoam ball to the center. I'm looking to see if I have a bigger one. They may only have come in one size in this. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big. Okay. So now we're going to add that to the center. And that'll kind of tie that look in to the entire design. There we have it. I'm going to pivot you up so you can see what it looks like on the board. Hello all. We're going to put it on the white door. Not sure. I would think that it would look better on a white door, but I'm not sure. I'm never sure until I go to take photos. Okay. Now, we're just going to take it. We're going to hang that. And then I'm going to fluff all those ribbons. Remember, I told you we're going to end up fluffing these 4 or 5 times. I'm going to do the same thing and make sure. And it's going to go back and forth as far as it's going to be white on one side. Maybe not on the other. And then make sure we can see everything. You know, we put all that ribbon in. You want to make sure you can see it all. There we go. I think we're good. So, there is our Hanukkah wreath. The very first. Wow, that sounds pretty sad. And this is my first time that I've done a Hanukkah wreath, but this is now available for sale on the website. So KatsCreationsNMore.com. You can go ahead and pick this one up. What do you guys think? Do you have any last minute questions? Other than that, you guys have an amazing weekend. And thanks for joining me. And I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye for now, everyone.